is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. It is Tuesday, May the 29th, 2018, and SmackDown Live filled in the spot for the final competitor in Money in the Bank tonight. Even though they did not give us exactly what they promised, we are going to bring the hammer down on all things SmackDown related right here and right now on a milestone edition of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is the world's greatest tag team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, and my little buddy, my most trusted companion, and the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in all the world, Blue the Snowball. Thank you so much for checking out the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show tonight for our SmackDown Live review, results, and reactions. And this, my friends, is our 400th video. 400, man. 400 is a big number. If you had $400 in your pocket, you'd be happy. If you were going to do a performance live in a club somewhere, maybe you're in a band, right? Maybe you got your band performance some night. You had 400 people turn out. That's a lot of people. That's absolutely a tremendous number. 400 videos in just under 2 years' time. Big time things happening here at the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you all so much, because without you guys, my fans, there's no reason for me to sit here and bring this hammer down on what is normally a bunch of garbage. And there was some garbage tonight on SmackDown Live, and we are going to address said garbage. But the show was actually not bad. It was not bad. I found myself enjoying myself at a few points in the night tonight. I don't know if I was just overly excited to see what the WWE had promised, and even when they took that away from me, the rest of the show, with two major exceptions, did not feel that bad to me. So let's get to the reason why we are here to bring the hammer down on SmackDown Live. Let's do it, boys and girls. The PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina, hosted tonight's edition of SmackDown Live, kicking off with the worst news possible. I want to get this right out of the way. Now listen, I understand that the match originally planned to decide the final entrant in Money in the Bank was Samoa Joe versus Big Cass. Big Cass supposedly suffered an injury. Daniel Bryan earned his way into this match, which was supposed to see him replace Big Cass. And then here we are, with the promise of a big-time singles match between two of the biggest stars in the business. One, the ultimate heel. The other, the perennial babyface. And high stakes are at risk. A chance to get into that match. Just the chance to be able to call yourself Mr. Money in the Bank. That's huge. That's huge. And you want to ruin it by throwing Big Cass into the mix, making it a multi-man matchup, again, triple threat, because God forbid we have a one-on-one, especially a huge one-on-one like the one we were promised tonight. Sure, you could sit here and say, well, you know, they shouldn't be doing that match anyway. They should put some story behind it, put some build on it, you know. Doesn't matter. You don't need storyline that much when it's Money in the Bank season. The story is about the briefcase. The briefcase is the story right now. You want to put on a random match between two of the biggest stars of all time, two of the hottest names on the roster right now, I am in. Put me down right now. Take my money. It was one of the matchups I was looking forward to seeing the most upon Daniel Bryan's return. Daniel Bryan versus Samoa Joe. No championship at stake just yet, but something very big on the line. A very good reason to have these guys go at it tonight. Then you want to throw in Big Cass. Big Cass is like the second coming of Roman Reigns. You know, Vince sees something magical in this 7-foot guy. And I don't want to down him too much, because if we're being honest, during the match tonight in the main event, Cass was decent. He wasn't spectacular. He didn't do anything to change my opinion of him. But to say that he held his own would be, I guess, a fair assessment. He held his own. He did not surpass or really, you know, work even to the level of the other two guys in the match. But he held his own. He didn't look as bad as he usually does. Maybe we can credit that to the talent he was surrounded by. They made him look good. So by the end of this whole thing, and with the way I enjoyed the main event tonight, from start to finish pretty much, with the exception of the commercials, you know, I'm going to kind of give it a pass. It still annoyed me. It's still a big negative if you ask me. You can't promise me pizza, delicious melty cheese and sauce, maybe some pepperoni, some meatball, whatever you like on your pizza, throw it on there, right? You throw it in the oven, you close it up, you let it cook, and then the dinger goes off, and you pull out a big giant pile of shit. You can't do that to somebody. Oh, well, the pizza exploded. Now it's a giant dome of dough and mess and sauce, and can't eat it like a pizza. But here, you can't enjoy it the way you were planning on enjoying it. You can't fold it up nice New York style and down it. You know what I mean? You got to eat it with a fork and a knife, and you're not really going to enjoy it as much as you would have a nice, toasty, delicious slice of pizza. Do you understand the analogy? Because that's what happened with this match. So I'm not gonna down it too much. We got a really, really good triple threat match, and something I'm going to say a couple of times during this review, probably one of the better triple threat matches we've seen, and maybe one of the better Big Cass matches we have seen in the entirety of his run before the injury even. But like I said, I attribute that to him being in the ring with a Daniel Bryan and a Samoa Joe. The other thing, which is the elephant in the room, I know you guys are waiting for me to talk about this ridiculous fucking dance-off. Now, if you wanted a big bright light with an arrow to show you guys in which direction the WWE is headed with their women's division, it couldn't get any bigger and brighter than the arrow that this segment pointed to a 360-degree return to the days of the Diva. When was the last time we had a fucking dance-off? Probably featured Eve Torres and some of them back in those days. Are you kidding me? This is what you get when your priority is to get over a woman on the roster that can't wrestle yet. Apparently, she's not that great of a dancer either. She wants to claim to be a ballerina, right? I call bullshit on that. If you were a ballerina, you haven't been a ballerina in so long that you are not as graceful as you remember yourself being in your limber younger years, little Miss Lana. When were you a ballerina? When you were 12? You can forget a lot of things in 10 years. It's not like riding a bike. This is something you need to practice at. We haven't seen you being a ballerina for the last 5-6 years on WWE TV. Ballerina. Naomi absolutely slaughtered her in this dance-off. So in the end, what did we accomplish with this? You made Lana look like a fool. It ended up in a brawl in which Lana and Rusev Day looked ridiculous in the end anyway. So not only did Naomi win the dance-off, but they rid themselves of Rusev Day and Lana. They exited them from the ring forcefully and had them running with their tail between their legs. So who looked good in this? The Usos and Naomi. And this was clearly a vehicle driven to use Rusev Day in all of its power to get over Lana, because Vince McMahon drools at the sight of this woman. What other reason can there be for this sudden tremendous pushing of Lana? All of the things you could have done tonight with the women that are on this show. You had Charlotte and Becky Lynch backstage doing a nice little back and forth, finally seeing a little tension brewing between the little tea time friends, which was very much appreciated by me. I enjoyed that as well. Could have been scripted a little better. It's not that they delivered it fantastically, but I appreciate the effort. But the effort here for Lana is for what? For what? To overshadow the rest of the girls that actually work hard? We didn't get to see the iconic duo. Not that they've been the greatest thing on SmackDown Live. They've absolutely been the absolute opposite of that. I know I said absolute twice there, and I didn't mean to, but that's what happens sometimes when I get fired up. We didn't have any of these other women that should be being built up. We had Lana, the non-wrestler, the sore thumb of the Women's Money in the Bank match, the one woman that don't deserve to be there. And here is your clear-cut example of why. Because they don't even book her in matches. Because she can't wrestle yet. How can you be training for all this time underneath your husband? Not in that way. Maybe they're spending too much time being underneath each other in that way. You know what I'm talking about, grown-ups. You get my gist. But where's the progression? There's been none. There's been none. You gave her a unnecessary quick win over Billie Kay last week, and now you're featuring her in a dance-off. For what reason are we having this dance-off? And you got Rusev standing there like a jerk holding his phone, shooting the whole thing on Instagram Live. Aiden English singing his song, leading them out. Lana is the best, Lana number 1. Lana is the worst, Lana number 2. As in the shit that comes out of my ass. Are you kidding me? No disrespect meant by that. But as a wrestling fan that tunes into a show that wants to see females wrestling, I don't want to see Lana's, and I don't want to see Carmella's, who are holding the Women's Championship hostage on the blue brand. You want to talk cringe? Let's talk about Mella in the Bank for a second. Can you make me throw up anymore? Didn't I throw up enough last night or Monday Night Raw? You gotta make me sick to my stomach again. Carmella just makes me want to implode. I would rather take my head and smash it in a vice than have to listen to her go on and on and on about how I beat Charlotte Flair twice, and that makes me twice as good as Asuka. Can you give her another line? Can you at least script one more line for her to say so she doesn't have to say the same thing over and over and over again during a match that's already pissing me off because you got Mandy Rose going over on Asuka throughout the entirety of the match? Until the end, when, thank God, they had the frame of mind to at least give Asuka the win in this terrible showing and this terrible use of Asuka. I don't give a shit that Sonya Deville softened her up on the pre-match entrance. That's Asuka. Nobody's ready for Asuka. I guess Mandy Rose was a little bit ready. She didn't get the win, but she seemed pretty fucking ready. Mandy Rose? Unacceptable. These things are not good things. I don't like coming on here and talking negative about females in wrestling. So don't bust my balls and call me a fucking sexist, because it's not about that. I've said it 1,000,000 times. And if I have to defend myself preemptively just to stop you goons from getting at me with the point that I'm not trying to make, I am totally for women's wrestling. But that's not what they're giving us. You're not building up Mandy Rose in a way to make it believable at all to me that she could be that much of competition for Asuka. Asuka's loss to Charlotte Flair has gotten in her head that much that she's slipping up her game? What is the story? Mandy Rose is that good? No. Did Sonya Deville do that much damage to really give the advantage to Mandy Rose for that amount of time in the match before Asuka seemingly won by luck? This is Asuka. This is the woman who's going to be challenging for the championship, and you got her begging for mercy pretty much at the hands of Mandy Rose. Where is that acceptable? Although tonight's show, as we started off this episode saying, was a decent show, it is not without its faults, and those are the three biggest of the big that I could think of. Let me just go over this one last time, make sure there's no... Yeah, everything else I have written here was pretty much okay. So let's get talking about the actual review of the show. We started off with Samoa Joe cutting a pretty badass promo, because he is the best on the mic. In his heel role, there is almost nobody that is on the level of a Samoa Joe. He is absolutely tearing it up, and he did so tonight, directly to Daniel Bryan, telling him, I want you to call your wife. I want her to tell little birdie, don't worry, daddy's coming home. And it's Samoa Joe's fault. It will be his doing. He seemed to cross a line. Daniel Bryan came out. The arena was electric. They could not wait for this match to start. It seemed like it was going to kick off the show. I was a little confused. I'm like, are we really doing this now? Are we kicking off the show with the main event? I was a little perturbed at that. But then that awful music hit, and Big Ass, Big Cass, Big Trash comes limping down with his little, crutch doing his thing. Tells everybody, look, it's the shrimp and the blimp, or whatever the fuck he said. Talking down to the better, bigger men in the ring. Daniel Bryan is a bigger man than Big Cass, even though not physically. And reveals to the world that he's been medically cleared to wrestle, and he's getting his shot, and he will be inserted into the main event tonight. Paige made it official, and I was not happy. I definitely was not happy. You took me from the highest of highs and sucked me down right to the bottom of the barrel just by sending Big Cass out there. As we said, it would not have that much of a detrimental effect on tonight's main event, but it was what it was. I was not happy about it, and the night rolled on. We had Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Ball style, versus the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. And I loved this match. I know some of you might say, well, it wasn't very good for Ty Dillinger, and I will come right back at you and say, yeah, it was. It absolutely was. Ty Dillinger was in there for a long time with the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura, the #1 contender and the challenger for AJ Styles World Heavyweight Championship, and he took a beating and kept coming. Shinsuke Nakamura wanted to make an example out of Ty Dillinger and show and show AJ Styles what is in store for him at Money in the Bank. If only it was Daniel Bryan. That's another story for another day. So Nakamura and Dillinger, I really enjoyed their chemistry. I loved the story they were telling. Nakamura trying to get Dillinger to stay down for the 10 count. The 10 count being Ty Dillinger's thing. The one most notable spot. And I think it actually made Ty Dillinger look like a badass, because he was getting beat to shit for the majority of this match. But then he was almost at the 10 count, Nakamura's fictional 10 count that he was doing himself. And he got to his feet and was leaning up against the ropes at the count of 9. Shinsuke sees this, gets all pissed off, and then Ty just gives him a good old 10 right back in his face, which really pissed off Nakamura, sent him to another level. Ty Dillinger did get off some offense. He did not look bad in this match. Sure, he got the loss. That was inevitable. But I think this was a great showing for Ty Dillinger. If this doesn't open up the eyes of the WWE creative as to the value that he does possess, even if it's just to get him on TV and allow him to wrestle as an enhancement talent to get the bigger guys over, this is the quality of stuff you can get. The crowd ate it up. It was a fun match. I enjoyed it. I never once for 1 minute thought Ty Dillinger was going to win. So for that amount of unpredictability to be hanging over this match, and for me to still end up enjoying myself by the end of this match, you have to give them credit, like I said, for at least making the effort to make this matchup at least feel different than your standard WWE bullshit matches. Is it the best use you could have had for Ty Dillinger? Sure, not at all. I agree with that. You couldn't have, or you could have rather done him much better, but they haven't been doing much with him for all this time. So I think this is a great way in defeat. He gets some good minutes on TV. He showed his value, in my opinion, and I actually liked this whole entire segment. I really did enjoy it. AJ Styles' promo after this, however, I'm starting to get a little... I don't want to say tired of AJ Styles' promos, but his promo ability is somewhat, lackluster to me. I think he's just become kind of one note. His promos all have that same delivery and that same feel. Whether he's saying it's the house that AJ Styles built or he's just calling out his own name, he's always doing it with that intense, loud, and there's a time and place to be that way. You don't have to be that way all the time. Sometimes a little intensity and, dropping the volume and bringing up the bass in your voice sometimes is a little bit more compelling than just ranting and raving and screaming your name out loud. AJ Styles! We hear it pretty much every week. Or the house that AJ Styles built. Why can't you just end your promo normally once in a while? I think it would be a lot more effective. And it's just starting to grate on me a little bit. But AJ Styles saying that he fights smarter and he fights harder than the usually bigger and stronger competitors. And he will guarantee that he is going to be the last man standing come Money in the Bank. It should be pretty good. But I said it right from the beginning when we first started talking about it. I see the double count out finish coming, a double disqualification. It can't be a disqualification, it's last man standing. But there's going to be a double 10 count administered, and they are going to pull this thing along, probably ending it up at SummerSlam once and for all. And I think maybe I'll be alright with that, depending on how they pave the road in between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. We can't just keep getting more of the same shit. But if they want to keep doing stuff like they did tonight with Ty Dillinger, throw some other B players into the mix, have these guys have fun with each other a little bit, I think it would be worth seeing. So that remains to be seen. After AJ's promo, we had the Dance Off. Ugh. Absolutely awful. Nobody cared. We talked about this at the beginning. I'm not going to go over it all again. It's just not worth it. The worst part of SmackDown tonight, no matter what. I'm crisscrossing it out with my pen as we speak because I don't even want to read it on this page anymore. That's how bad it was. We went into the 6-man tag. We saw the New Day doing their pancake shtick in the back. We seen the Miz with the bar doing kung fu, blindly chopping away at fucking pancakes. Can we please do away with the pancakes? Can we start taking some shit seriously? It did not put me in the frame of mind for what I was about to receive, which, in my opinion, and that's what this show is about, my opinion, whether you agree with me or not is up to you. You're allowed to disagree. I don't mind. But I think that this 6-man tag we got tonight might have been the best 6-man tag we have seen all year in the WWE. Credit The Miz and The Bar and the New Day for going out there and taking something that we have seen over and over and over again and actually getting me interested in it before the end. There was a lot of great action here. The crowd was explosive towards the end. We got a lot of multiple near falls, and the finish of this match, I think, was booked absolutely fantastically. You had the Bar outside the ring. Xavier Woods was going to execute some sort of a body splash to try to take them out, but they simultaneously caught him, brought his body over to the steel barricade, and dropped him across it, clothesline style, taking him out of the match. They would turn around to be greeted by Kofi Kingston, who came shooting across the ring like a dart, jumping up to the third turnbuckle, stepping off the turnbuckle and onto the ring post itself, and then launching himself onto the bar. All three men would be laid out at ringside. This would leave The Miz alone in the ring with Big E. He's looking on in shock. He can't believe what he's seen, just like I don't believe what I just seen. He turns around and gets caught right into the big ending. 1, 2, 3. This match would be over, and I thoroughly enjoyed this 6-man tag team match. There, I said it. I think I said it for the first time talking about a WWE 6-man all year. I really enjoyed this match. Maybe I was, like I said, on a high from the Nakamura thing, and with having Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan still crossing paths later in the night. But I would have to say that would not be the case, because this came off of the Dance Off. So maybe I was just happy that I was actually seeing wrestling, and that this whole Dance Off thing was over and done with. And hopefully we never see it again. But the 6-man tag tonight for all 6 of these men, I thought was great. I thought it was great. It wasn't a 5-star match or anything, super tremendous, but when you consider what we've been getting, I thought this was great. I didn't think Gallows and Anderson's promo in the back was great. I don't think them being positioned in the spot that they're in is great, but I will once again welcome something different. Although the reasoning and the logic of how we got here is somewhat skewered and twisted, the Bludgeon Brothers versus Gallows and Anderson, the club, whatever you want to call them, is something slightly new, and it'll be interesting to see where this goes. What is not interesting are all these promos. I don't like this weird tweener thing that Gallows and Anderson are doing. He wants to, Anderson wants to throw his hot Japanese wife in his face, his hot Asian wife, or whatever. He's trying to put that in our face like they're heels. But then they're getting over with the whole nerds thing, calling everybody nerds, getting the crowd participation out of that. Are they heels? Are they babyface? Are they with AJ? Are they missing Finn? Like, what is going on upstairs? Because it doesn't seem like there's much. Their promos are just dreadful. What they say is ridiculous. The only thing they said that had any merit was at the very, very end, where they claimed they were going to beat the Bludgeon Brothers for the tag team championships. And then they were going to call them nerds, and then there would be some weird flickering, and they turned around to a TV screen, and the Bludgeon Brothers would be there. They're talking about liquefying bodies and doing all kinds of crazy shit. I don't understand it. I don't care about it. It didn't really do anything for me. Did not really enjoy this. As soon as this little segment ended, we went back down the slope, because here is where we had Asuka versus Mandy Rose. Asuka coming out, getting beat up by Sonya Deville, getting too beat up for too long of a length of time by Mandy Rose before we got to the finish of this match. Asuka thankfully would make her tap out, as we talked about before. This was not believable to me. Carmella's wretched whining just made this whole segment not a good time for me. I did not enjoy this at all. After this match, Carmella finally takes off the headpiece, or stops talking into the microphone, and makes her way into the ring. She wants to confront Asuka. They're standing face to face. She's all slouched over. I can't help but think that she looks like the female embodiment of Enzo Amore, with the overalls and the hair pretty much looking exactly like him. All she's missing is the big ass beard and the cockier attitude that annoys you. Speaking of Enzo, that rap song is just That's all we're gonna say. Because I don't want to disrespect the guy. It's a great effort, and I give him respect for going out there and doing that. It takes a lot to put yourself out there like that, bro. But maybe let that be your last hit. I don't know. After this little confrontation between Mella in the Bank and Asuka, we saw Charlotte and Becky teasing the tension between them in the back. Not the best promo, but like I said, I could appreciate it. We had Paige come in and ruin everything. Oh, I'm here. We used to be Team PCB, Tea time. I have a great idea. I'm going to go away now. Bye. I have no fucking idea why she was involved. I don't know what she said. All I know is she had a great idea and she walked away. Great. Tea and crumpets for everybody. Fantastic. Who cares? tea time? It's tea time. What does that mean? I guess we'll find out during the week on social media or next week on SmackDown Live. I also, coming back to some enjoyment, I did enjoy Andrade Cien Almas backstage being confronted. Well, I shouldn't say confronted. He was being greeted by Sin Cara, right? Sin Cara's coming in. Hey, what's up, hombre? Mi amigo. Like, we go way back, bro. How you doing? Good to see you on my show. And the whole time, Almas is looking at him like, do I know you, fool? And then Zelina Vega comes. Holy shit. My speech is all off tonight. I apologize, you guys. Zelina Vega, the beautiful and talented Zelina Vega, comes in all pissed off and perturbed. Like, who the hell do you think you are talking to my guy? You don't address my guy. Who the hell are you? He never introduced himself to Zelina Vega. She probably already knows who he is. But at least for the camera, he could have been like, I'm Sin Cara. I'm friends with your boy. We go way back. But instead, he was just like, me and Sin Cara. Me and Andrade. We go way back. Blah, blah, blah. He gave him the hug. He's like touching him, whatever. Andrade Cien Almas says in Spanish, don't you ever touch me again. Walks off like he never knew him. Zelina Vega pretty much put it in his place. You don't know this Andrade Cien Almas. This is a new and different Cien Almas. And I liked that. We've seen Andrade Cien Almas in the ring squashing two local goofballs over the last couple of weeks, and that's fine. Because if we're going to at least start heading in the direction of the C team players, and he's going to go in there with a guy like Sin Cara next, it's natural progression. He's obviously working his way up the card. That's how it's done. So it's showing signs of positivity. And do not sleep on a matchup between Sin Cara and Almas. It may be one of the best matches we get to see on SmackDown Live for the rest of the year. Almas is that good. These guys do have a legitimate history together. Sin Cara has a lot to prove. And I think Almas would be a great opponent for them to go out there and put on a match that we have not seen the likes of on a SmackDown Live. Will it be reminiscent of some of the shit we see on 205 Live? Most likely. Most likely. But these guys are not as small as the 205 weight limit, has those guys looking a lot smaller in comparison to a Cien Almas and even to Sin Cara. He just always seemed to look a little bit too big. Next to Kalisto, it's just a very, very weird dynamic in height. So I like this. And I hope that it goes somewhere good, and it is a great launching point for Almas. It's going to be something special to see. Then we had this main event triple threat, which, like I said, was pretty good despite Kaz's involvement. He was decent, but this match was all about Daniel Bryan. The crowd was 100% behind him. The Yes movement in full effect, but even though Daniel Bryan at every turn was seemingly being stopped by Big Cass throughout this entire matchup, with Samoa Joe playing a part here and there, a very major part here and there nonetheless, but the story mainly revolved around Bryan and Cass, coming right to the finish where Daniel Bryan had this match won. He hit Big Cass with a vicious flying knee, went down for the cover, which for most fans, you could have counted to 10 right there. Big Cass would have been out till next Tuesday. Daniel Bryan had this match won when out of nowhere the Destroyer would surface and wrap him up like an anaconda in the coquina clutch. Daniel Bryan passing out in the Goliath arms of Samoa Joe, not tapping out. He did not give up. A la Stone Cold Steve Austin, he did not give in. He just lost consciousness. He wasn't dripping blood or anything. But that is the story that we told here. Samoa Joe gets the win and goes on to the Money in the Bank. And again, making this year's Money in the Bank honestly, for the men, one of the most unpredictable fields there's been in years. You could give it to anybody in that match. You got Braun Strowman. You got Rusev Day. I mean, Strowman's the heavy favorite. But you could go with a Finn Balor. You could go with Samoa Joe. I think there's going to be a very, very good Money in the Bank match coming our way in a couple of weeks at Money in the Bank this year. Big Cass, after this match, would get his spot in, as well as he would pick the bones of a very, very beaten Daniel Bryan as he would get to his feet, only to eat a big boot from the big ass, big trash, Big Cass, who, like I said, was actually decent in that match. SmackDown Live, actually decent for once. If we're going to give it a grade, I'd give it a decent, like a C-. You know, there's a lot of room for improvement. There was a lot for me to yell and scream about here tonight. The hammer had to fall. So we are far from perfect. We are nowhere near what we need to be, but there are glimmers of hope, at least right now, on the Blue brand. And like I say, I can appreciate the effort. You just got to do it better, and you got to do it more often with more consistency, and don't drop things. I hate when they drop things, whether they're working or not. See it to the end, work it through, maybe something will happen. Maybe that's what's going on with Cass. I don't know why they see him as such a big main eventer. Maybe they just don't want to drop it because it's something that they were going for. Maybe it's going to lead to something good in the end. It's very possible. You know, we say all the time, when you wrestle the same people over and over again, you can't help but build chemistry. And if you're going to wrestle guys the caliber of a Daniel Bryan and a Samoa Joe on a consistent basis, you can't help but get better. It's almost a statistical impossibility for you to not learn something and take it with you for the rest of your career by wrestling such seasoned veterans and such top-notch guys like tonight. Samoa Joe, the Destroyer, the right hand of destruction, the Samoan submission machine, one of my all-time favorites, and the best heel going in the WWE today, going to make his presence felt at Money in the Bank. And I guess I'm getting a little excited. The build over the next couple of weeks is going to be terrible. Trust me. This might have been the best offering we get throughout the rest of it. If we're lucky, they will continue on this path, and the rest won't be so bad. But don't expect a miracle turnaround. It's not like we had a 5-star show tonight, boys and girls, but we did not want to fall asleep so much after the dance-off was over. Thank you guys so much for being with me here again tonight on this SmackDown Live review for Tuesday, May the 29th, 2018. Happy Memorial Day once again to all of you who have served this country here in the United States. If you did not hear it yesterday, we did a nice little tribute at the beginning, and you can go back and watch that because the Monday Night Raw review is live. Watch me absolutely spaz out on that show, because last night was not that great, as usual. I'm getting used to it on Monday night. Tonight, if you want to compare the two, SmackDown Live, definitely with the better of the two shows tonight. We're getting more and more requests for NXT reviews, so keep those requests rolling in the comment section down below if you want to see my point of view on the absolute best WWE show going today, which is the Yellow brand. We can make that happen if I see enough interest and it's worth my time. I can definitely push to get that out there for you. Let me know if you like that. Do not forget to check out the subscription box showdown. The champion, That Wrestling Club, defending its championship against WrestleCrate once again for the 7th time. Who comes out on top? Check it out for yourself to see who wins. Don't forget also to check out everything we did for House of Glory. The review of Fair Warning is up live. It is absolutely one of my favorite reviews that I have done because I love House of Glory and they deserve it. Don't forget also to check them out at houseofglorywrestling.net. Subscribe to them as well as subscribe to me right here on YouTube. House of Glory's wrestling channel is here. You can see some of the best action in the world, and you could see me. You will see me in the crowd On the latest video that went up, I'm easier to spot than the worst female wrestler in the Money in the Bank this year. That's an easy spot. You see Lana, like I said, a sore thumb. You will see me in the crowd all over in my Gango mask with my black and red hair flowing through. I am all over the place. You guys got to see me at House of Glory in the audience. I am there. It's worth your time because as well as seeing this handsome guy doing his House of Glory thing, you will see some of the finest wrestling action that the Independence in New York City has to offer. The premier independent wrestling organization in all of New York is House of Glory. Go check them out here on YouTube. Subscribe to them. And don't forget, more importantly, subscribe to this channel right now. Let's get us to 1,000 subscribers before Money in the Bank. We got a couple of weeks to do it, and I know that you are going to be the one to help me do that. During this 400th epic video, be one of the hundreds of fans that know that when you want no sugar-coated bullshit, and you want truth, and you want the hammer brought down on your pro wrestling, that this is the place to be, and that place is Sledgehammer TV right here on YouTube, the official home of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, which is also available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean, baby, which I think I forgot to do at the beginning. So it's a very, very, very good thing that I have it here on the layout. Check it out. The new layout is here. Don't forget to join the Sledgehammer Club today. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. And it has never been more important than ever to ring that notification bell, because the algorithm on YouTube is all fucking screwy. And you don't want to see what I did 6 or 7 months ago. So if you want to see the newest and most recent videos, you got to hit that notification bell so that you don't get lost in the past. And you will see every single thing that goes up on this channel as it goes up in chronological order, the way it should be. YouTube, thank you once again for indulging all of my nonsense at the end of these shows. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Wrestling God of Thunder, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, and my little buddy, my most trusty companion, and the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Blue, the Chromatic Snowball. Thank you for checking out the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Have a good one.